We're going. No. See, now I got to put you guys under hot fire now. Oh, I don't want to sit in the middle, though. That was my seat. No, that was my seat. Oh, no. Okay, guys. So here we go. So, no, we're rolling right into it. So I'm going to let you guys introduce yourselves and let them know who they've been waiting for this whole time. So, Kellen, I'm going to pick on you. Here we go. Ready? So introduce yourself. Yeah, so turn the mic.
Not ready. Hold on. Ready.
Let's go.
Hi.
Hi.
Oh, you want me to introduce myself?
Yes.
Hi, I'm Kellen. I play Overhaul in My Hero Academia. Yeah. Thank you. He doesn't deserve it, and he can't do that himself, but thank you anyway. And yeah, what about you?
Hello, I'm Zeno Robinson, and I didn't even get to say. I love you all. Thank you. I play Hawks in My Hero Academia. Thank you. I love you.
Hi, I'm Anides Quinones, and I voice Mirko. Best hero.
That's what I'm talking about.
Okay, so there's kind of two different ways that we can do this. So I would like to ask a lot of questions about season 6, but obviously I want to respect the boundaries on the borders, or we can talk a little bit more about character development. So if we're good with spoilers, raise our hands or make some noise. If you're up to date with season 6, like make some noise. The people have spoken. We're speaking on season 6.
Yeah.
All right, so out the gate, I'm just gonna ask, like, down the line, popcorn, what you feel like was the most, like, pivotal moment of season 6? Because I feel like there were so many different things that actually happened and broke down, so.
Yeah, admittedly, I haven't gotten to the full thing yet, but I remember my part.
Let's go. Right.
I think, yeah, I didn't expect that big, spoilers, jailbreak. And I actually have a funny story to tell later about the first session I had back. But we could save that for later. I don't want to take up your time.
No, you can say it, man.
Yeah.
You're good.
It's long. Are you sure? Long-ish. I could.
Yeah, you got it. You want to talk about it. I want you to talk about it.
Go ahead and yap.
So when they asked me to come back for it, I was at Shakespeare Camp in the middle of Lenox, Massachusetts, which is nowhere. And they were like, hey, do you have like a pro studio near you that we can like record this at? I'm like, I got like a laptop. And they're like, so we found this place that's like a church, and it has like a music thing in the back of it. I remember you telling me the story. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. Okay, continue.
And to get there, we drove through like a snowstorm. It was like the snowiest day of the month, and like 2 trees fell down in front of us on the way there. 2 separate times. So I don't think God wanted me to do this, but no. I did it anyway.
Actually cursed.
Actually, yeah, I mean, if anyone was going to be.
How many lines did you have?
I had 1 line and 1 grunt.
Nice. He drove through a snowstorm for you guys. For 2 cues. That's how dedicated he is to this.
And the best part was that we started recording it, and Source Connect, what we used to record from far away, just went out. So Colleen texted me, was like, just do it, and we'll like.
So you got there, and it didn't work. It still didn't work. You had to drive back. And
you realize I could have done this from home, but nah, it was a lot of fun though, and it's a story now.
Yeah.
And we got fresh baked bread while we were out there, so that was nice.
Everyone wins.
What about you? What was the pivotal point of this 6th season for you?
I think there was a cool sort of dissection of like the hero culture that happened in the middle. Like, you know, the jailbreak happened, and then all these heroes, and like Hawks had this monologue where he was like, yeah, and then a bunch of the heroes just started resigning. And I was like, a lot of them were like, you know what, actually, that guy's killing people. I think I'm good, actually. I'm gonna go home. You know, I was like, whoa, you know, it's like, it's such an interesting dissection of like, it sort of became a pseudo celebrity culture. Like, oh, some of these guys started doing it for the wrong reasons, you know, and they were like, yo, my bad, y'all. Like, I'm not equipped to handle actual apocalyptic events. We used to just let All Might do everything, you know, and we would,
an influencer,
you know, like we used to just let that guy do everything, but he's not here. Like, what are we gonna do? So I think that's a crazy sort of like pivot to like the culture of, and a dissection of like the culture of hero culture in My Hero Academia. It's like a lot of them didn't take their job seriously because they always felt like there was somebody above them who would handle it for them, you know. When it got really, really bad, right? Like, who was there, who was left? And it was all these kids and, like, 4 pros, right? Like, crazy.
And for me, I mean, the whole stopping Shigaraki from, you know, getting so powerful, like, just seeing how all the heroes handled it and where their, I guess, passion for being a hero comes from, like, that's like one thing I admire, because everyone likes to say that like Mirko is like, oh, she crazy, she aggressive, she just ready to throw down, but she genuinely is like, I need to stop this. This is an evil dude, and she's just like so, like she's passionate. She is a hero. So I think that was like my favorite part.
Mine too.
So I would love to go a little bit further into that when you're talking about like essentially like the dying of the hero like culture in like season 6 and just like gradually growing throughout. So how do you guys feel just in general of like now they're like getting like shamed, like literally like Endeavor is like scared to show his face. Like he's like, no, because I'm pretty much gonna like start inciting riots because people don't trust me. So like how did that like make you feel?
I thought sometimes the public was a little too like harsh. I was like, that's not fair. This man's like he's like one of 3 people trying to help you. You know, he's like, but I understand. Like, but some people were like, oh, like, because it's your fault Dobby exists, and he's like, technically, but I didn't tell him to do all the stuff that he did. Like, so, but I understand the idea of like. That's why I think this is a cool like little dissection. The idea of like. People needed someone to blame, right? They like needed something to blame. That was the reason everything was falling apart. They're like, it's you guys' job to prevent this, and now everything's all bad. And like, I think it's a cool dissection of like All Might too, where it's like what do you do when the guy who did everything isn't around anymore? Yeah. Like, and what does that mean for the other, kind of like what Daenerys is saying, like why people become heroes. Like some people become it for the wrong reasons and some people became it for the right reasons. And this is sort of the litmus test of who was on each side. So I think that was a cool
Coming from Hawks, who was on both sides. I said coming from Hawks, who was on both sides.
Hawks swings both
no,
ways.
Hawks was on one side, okay? And it's the side that stands
he
on
was slipping
business.
a little bit.
Okay, the stand on business side.
He going for both teams.
Oh no. And go ahead, Anais. Go ahead. Your response, yes.
To what?
So, like to the hero culture and like how
I
you
have
felt
30
about-
seconds.
No response.
I got nothing. I got nothing.
So let's go into the whole Twice and Hawks. Like we're gonna pull it back a little bit further. And the way all of that went down and how it ended, I'm just curious to know, like, do you feel like Hawks did the right thing in essentially like ending him, and did you have any empathy for Twice? And that goes for all of you.
100%. Did the right thing. 100%. And it's like my job to like feel like that, right? But like, what was the alternative, right? Like, what was the alternative? I gave you like 3 chances, right? I said, stop what you're doing. Don't do this. Turn yourself in. I'll help you. I'll help you rebuild your life. Just stop doing what you're doing. He said no. Then what am I supposed to do? If Hawks didn't do what he did, Twice would have killed way more people, right? He was already in the process of killing another hero when Hawks killed him. So it was like, what we expect him to do at that point?
But did it have to be lethal?
Yeah. He can clone himself.
Yeah.
He can. At that point, if Hawks lets him live after that, or it does a non-lethal thing, he can clone himself and en masse and go kill slews of other people.
Right. How does that work? Like, you can jail one twice. Does the other one have to be tried as well? And then there's another one. Do they have to go through
Split the sentences between them.
Does every clone have to go through due process to be? So yeah, I think
know.
violence is the answer
legal
here.
system's broken. Just skip it. You just got to skip to the end. Yeah, I think it's pretty necessary. I think there was at that point there was no other choice. And I mean, I think Hawks did try to like disarm him like non-lethally in the beginning, and then Dobby showed up, right, and ruined everything. So if you want to blame anybody, blame Dobby. It's his fault that I keep saying that Hawks had to kill twice. That's so crazy. I have to separate myself from.
So, just talking about character development, I feel like all of your characters all had their own, I would say, pretty epic moments that literally turned the course of the show. So I would love to hear what you feel like was the most pivotal thing that you think your character did throughout the series. Pivotal. So like most important thing, or like what you think had the most impact, or like shock value.
Overhaul did a lot.
Overhauled.
And I don't really agree with much of it. Well, I mean, going back from season 4, I feel like when he was down on the ground and he was like defeated, and Shigaraki was rubbing it in his face, I don't think he was even thinking about how his plan failed, but how he put his father figure in a coma and now he can't take him out of it. So he spends all this time thinking about that in prison, and the first thing he says when he gets out is, "Where is Pops?" So yeah, I mean, he's pretty one note because that's all he's been thinking about. That's his whole motivation. He wants to go make it up to Pops. He hasn't even thought about Eri in a second. It's just making it up to the guy who took him off the street when he was a kid.
Yeah, I think you brought this like really cool vulnerability in what you did in the last season that I think was indicative that this was what you were thinking throughout the entirety of the time. He like sounds like a completely different person than he was in season 4, and I think that's super cool.
Yeah, jail changes a man. What about you?
Well, I know Inaris is here, but I'd like to talk about Mirko, so no, I'm kidding. I think. What was the question? I'm thinking about Mirko. What was the question?
Pretty much like the most like important thing you feel like your character like brought through the season or had the most impact.
Yeah. I mean, I think he kind of says it where like, you know, he felt like Twice was the kind of person who like Hawks strives to be, and he wants to be a more freer, more sort of like playing things by his rules now that there are no more rules. And I think that was the most important thing, was he sort of found a purpose outside of this thing he felt like he had to serve, which was like the hero commission and, you know, the public and what they want. And he's like, okay, now I get to kind of operate in a space where I get to do what I think is right by my standards. And everybody else is just going to have to deal with that.
When I was watching Across the Spider-Verse, I was like, oh my God, Spider-Punk is kind of Hawks, isn't it?
Yeah.
A little bit, right?
Right, a little bit. He's like, nah, let me do my own thing. That's Miles, but still. Exactly.
I feel like Mirko set an example of what a hero should be after All Might. I always like to think that she's, like, I remember when I was, like, you know, doing my inner character development thing, like, analyzing her, I was like, oh, she's a lot like All Might. It's just she's not as popular, but, like, she is, like, very dedicated and very passionate, and she is all about doing the right thing. Can she be a little aggressive about it? Yeah, why not, you know? Like, but I do think she obviously turned the tide, you know, but also set an example.
She's my #1 hero.
Same.
So I wanna just tap a little bit like more into that about like her setting the example, because we were talking kind of backstage about her being pretty much like the first like real female representation in the comic. I would like you to talk more about that.
Yeah, because, you know, for me, I didn't really have, because I was a My Hero fan back when the season 1 came out. I was always a fan. So for me, I didn't really have a favorite female hero because I didn't feel like anyone was interesting. There wasn't any physical or like almost magical powers. It seems like that was all going to the boys, and so I liked Deku more, and I liked, you know, other characters more. But with Mirko being introduced, like, she is purely physical, you know, she has physical strength, and it's so cool to see. And I feel like that's why a lot of people gravitate towards her, other than her being a hottie, because,
the quads for me.
You know, she's strong, she's badass. It's awesome.
Okay, so I want to go back to, you know, something that you mentioned, talking about like the hero ranking. Do you guys believe that they should still rank heroes anymore, like at this point? And does it even matter that Endeavor is the #1 hero?
If I say yes, will you bring me to Pops?
No.
No, honestly, I don't know. An inherent kind of like system that puts one above another gives kind of a weird power dynamic to it. So that's always felt kind of to me. I know it's supposed to be there as a motivator to be the best hero you can be, plus Ultra and all that, but like, and bring out the competition of it, but like, should it be a competition when we're all just trying to save people? Not me, but like, yeah.
No, I agree. Yeah, I think it doesn't really serve a purpose. As you could see by the end of season 6, the rankings are kind of meaningless now. I mean, even if we talk about Mirko's scene, right? She's like the #5 hero, but in my opinion, did the most work during trying to stop Shigaraki from evolving. Did the most work, more than the #4 hero, whose name I can't remember, and 3, which I think is that shot.
Is that the washing machine?
Wash?
But
you know what's crazy about Wash?
What?
When all the other heroes quit, Wash was still on the front lines.
Period.
Wash
A
is
real
a
hero.
one.
A real one.
Shout out Wash.
Yeah. Let's get some applause for Wash.
Shout out to Wash. Yeah, I think it's like an arbitrary thing. You know, you don't, even if we're comparing it to like our modern day celebrity culture, right? Like, there's no #1 celebrity, right? Is there a #1? Michael Jackson, maybe? Is there a #1 celebrity? Prince?
If I speak.
But that's what I mean. That's how arbitrary it is, right? It differs from person to person. So I think it doesn't serve a purpose other than some sort of vain kind of, I don't know. I think if you're really a hero, which I think is sort of the point of this season, it's like you do it to help others. You don't do it for rankings, right?
I also feel like, you know, the hero ranking system goes against the whole point of My Hero Academia because, you know, yes, you have All Might and Deku who, you know, they have physical strength, but you have all these other characters, and, you know, I complained about too many, like, girls having, like, non-magical physical powers, but also it's interesting to see how everyone can be useful even with a very odd power like, oh, I'm sticky, or you know, whatever. Like, it is so interesting to see like what every hero is capable of doing in order to help people and save people. So to try and rank that, I mean, what are you ranking it by?
Right.
You know?
Someone's arbitrary opinion of
How strong they are, how
Yeah.
many people they save.
Right.
Like, why does that matter?
And we already know like the strength thing is sort of irrelevant at this point, right? And like the technical use of a power is sort of also kind of irrelevant at this point, right?
Yeah. What is the test for power there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So with that in mind, talking about the test of power, since Deku has now like 50-11 quirks, how do you guys feel about like how he's actually managing them like pretty quickly now, like out of the gate, and like to me is going to show why he's the #1 hero? Just pretty much like how we feel about Deku and developing, pretty much Deku developing his quirks like so quickly to like get to the #1 hero spot? Like, how you feel about like his work ethic and all that?
Well, he's a shonen protagonist, so. I mean, I think that it is quick, but it also is just right with the pacing of how the story's going, and I think that's what I really care about. But yeah, my boy's getting OP really quick, isn't he?
I don't know. That's my boy. He got it from the dirt, man. I love that Deku is kind of on top right now, because I don't know. It's just cool to see someone who like works real hard. He does things for the right reasons. He had no quirk to start off with, and even when he did get a quirk, he had to work twice as hard. You know, eternal black struggle, and now he's like on top. He just worked hard for it. I don't know. I really love that for him, and I love that it wasn't like, oh, like now he's like kind of on par with All Might, and he's like doing the thing, right? He was like a vigilante for like a cool minute, right? Like he was like, I'm gonna do everything on myself, just like All Might. Get away from me. I don't have any friends.
Where is she?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And so I like that it also kind of didn't like enforce this message of, well, Deku, like, you know how Dragon Ball is like, well, Goku's gonna show up and then he's gonna spirit bomb the thing and then, you know, and then they're gonna win, you know, like, so I'm watching like Yamcha fight it, but we all know what's gonna happen to Yamcha, you know. It's just like, we have to wait for Goku. I like that they didn't do that with Deku, right? Like, they kind of did, but they kind of subverted it a little bit with like, oh no, he still needs like support. He still needs his people. He still needs his friends, and they're even kind of doing that like in the manga right now. So I like that.
Yeah, definitely seconding that because, I mean, you know, you have, like, I'm gonna think of Naruto as an example. Naruto, he starts from nothing. Like, he struggles to harness his power, but then at the same time, he has, you know, a buff. Like, he is secretly OP. Right. And Deku doesn't have that. Deku, literally, he is just in love with the idea of being a hero, in love with the idea of helping people, and he works towards that and does it even though without a quirk. Like, I still think about episode 1 because it was just such a hook of like, oh man, this is a good guy. I can't wait to see where he goes. And, you know, it's not like he figured it all out in season 1. Like, even, you know, season 4 and stuff, like, yeah, he went up against Overhaul, but he still wasn't All Might level, and honestly probably not even Miracle level, you know? No. Like, he's just like still just figuring out what is him, and so it's a whole process, but regardless, it's still based on that passion of like, I want to be a hero, I want to help people, and that's the only thing he strives towards. And, you know, everything else, like what his main quirk is or whatever, that's secondary.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask a bit of a random question because you mentioned Naruto. So My Hero Academia is like one of my favorite anime, and Naruto is my like favorite one. And so someone made the comment, they were like, well, they have the same storyline. And I'm like, and when you think about it, they kind of are, but aren't. So I would like to know if you think like if My Hero Academia and Naruto are pretty much like the same storyline or similar.
There's definitely similarities, but I don't think that Kishimoto gives the same level of care to the other characters that Horikoshi does to the 1A and even, you know, the 1B class. Like, you know, there is potential in characters, and I feel like especially, you know, in OG Naruto, you saw that, like, there was so many interesting characters that could do their own thing. Rock Lee was, you know, that was a guy, you know. But then, you know, you go into Shippuden and it's like, where's all that
Where's
power?
Everybody else?
Yeah, and it all became about...
Who's this random third guy that...
Yeah, who's this?
Why? Who's
you know,
he?
but it all became about Naruto, and while it was cool to see Naruto grow so much, I do think, you know, he was kind of broken, you know?
I mean, it kind of is. I mean, a lot of the shonen stories are like, the hero's like, I want to be the insert best hierarchical thing in the world
Best
there.
hierarchical thing.
But I do agree on some points where, like, I think Horikoshi puts a lot of attention into the world and the building and the dissection of it. And yeah, I think the main difference with Deku never said, I want to be the best hero in the world, right? He never said, I want to be, he said, this is the story of how I became that, right? And I think that's the main difference is like Deku like literally just wanted to be a hero. He just like, I'll take a quirk. Just give me one, please, you know?
Right, because like Naruto, the whole thing was like, oh, nobody respects me in the village. I'm gonna prove myself. I'm gonna be the Hokage. And Deku's not about that. He didn't want recognition. He just wanted to
There's something
do it.
Is that clicked to me what you said in episode 1 about going back to episode 1. Deku is like Deku would be a hero if he didn't have one. If he didn't have a quirk, he went to try to save Bakugo quirkless just because that's what he wanted to do. And yeah, I think like that's the main core difference between the two.
Whether you're successful or not, that's a different story, but like he had the bravery.
Yeah, and you know, he just happened to unlock all these other powers, and he's like, okay, well maybe I can be the best hero then, I don't know. But that was never his goal, I think. He just like had a thing to look up to and follow after.
That's my baby boy, I love him.
Yeah, Deku, my boy.
So circling back around, talking about character development, I feel like My Hero Academia and their like villain character development is next level. Overhaul, you're gonna get to talk, I promise. And so with that being said, I would love to know like what is your actual like favorite villain arc and why?
Ooh, interesting. Geez, let me think about that. Well, I mean, I know Overhaul so well, so I feel like I would have a bias if I said
Please,
that
yes,
one.
talk about Overhaul.
Talk about Overhaul, please.
I mean, there's should I just talk about Overhaul?
No, I'm very serious. Like I like Overhaul, so like please.
I'll just say real quick that I really like Horikoshi's exploration of Twice in that who is the real one, and that drives him crazy. And the measures he took to try and prevent the original one from going, I definitely like that. Overhaul, I mean, he started out as an orphan, and see, Horikoshi constructed this so well, or I'm just making connections where there aren't, because since he grew up on the street, there's dirt all around, so he doesn't like dirt. Since he was taken in by Pops, he sees Pops as a father figure, and he wants to be like Pops and do him proud, and he's always about paying back a kindness or fairness. Unless he's not thinking about it. There are exceptions to the rule, like most of what he did in season 4. Like a good example is when he's coming up, he's rolling up to the League of Villains, and it's like, we both have a guy killed, let's stop for now and cool off, and we'll try this again later. Like a more ruthless guy would have just like, okay, you're not going to follow me, and he could have. He can touch someone and they explode. So I feel like there's either apathy or restraint in that.
It does, now that you say that, make me wonder what, like, a battle between Overhaul and, what was that guy's name? Shigaraki would be. They both have, like, hand destruction-y powers. And, you know, Shigaraki cheated and waited for Overhaul to be kind of hurt. Let Deku do all the work, and then took his arms away.
Right,
Cheated. He didn't want to fight him straight up.
Yeah.
Which is why I don't really like Shigaraki. And Shigaraki needs lotion, in my opinion. But that does make me wonder what a fight between them would look like.
I can't, maybe I'm just not creative about it, but I can't imagine a scenario where it wouldn't end in like 5 seconds with one of them crumbling or exploding.
Right?
Is there like a willpower
Crazy,
shield?
yeah.
Or is it, I think it would be the equivalent of like the dining room table, and he's on one side and someone's on the other, and you're like running around, and the first one to get tagged loses.
I need this on Death Battle. I need them to figure this out.
Yeah, let Death Battle sort it out. Throughout it, just sort of the one track of he doesn't really care who he needs to use or anything to to pay it back to the boss. And so that overwhelming sense of fairness for the one target keeps him from seeing that he's destroying a bunch of other lives. Like Rappa, he just wants to fight. He didn't really want to be a villain. He just
wanted to do hood rat stuff with his friends. He
dude,
wasn't really trying to be about that gangster life. He was just like trying to do hood rat stuff.
But Overhaul came in and exploded him and revived him until he said yes. It's like ruthless. And all he saw was a means to an end. So I'm hoping so hard that he finally realizes how much of a he's been and apologizes to Aerie and turns over a new leaf and realizes that there's life beyond Pops. Yeah, as thankful as he should be for what Pops did, it drove his whole life so far.
Next.
I think Dobby's pretty cool. I guess, or whatever. I just think he has a really interesting backstory. I mean, I think we all kind of knew, We all kind of knew. But getting to like sort of examine the intricacies of it is a fascinating thing. I love sort of its impact on like the world, but also sort of like Endeavor, right? And like what's his brother's name? I keep forgetting everybody's name today. Shoto, thank you. What's his other name? That was where I was thinking. Yeah, Todoroki, and like I don't know. I really like when it's like they set this thing up. He set this thing up really early, and it paid off like really late in story and had this like cool impact on the world. I kind of think the world overreacted a little bit. Not gonna hold you, but
just a little bit.
like I feel like we all got it. So I feel like there was somebody in the world who's like,
When all you see is linear, you don't even think about that. You just go charging toward the end.
But it's a cool examination of like how the past, the past never dies, right? Like, and like, I think it's a cool, like, what's it called? Endeavor's trying to do this whole atonement thing. So I think it's a cool consequence that he has to deal with, and that unfortunately, like Todoroki also has to deal with,
Overhaul, and for basically the reasons you said, it was really interesting. It's been so long since I watched that part, but I was like, this is like my favorite villain. The other ones were okay, but this is some good stuff.
Yeah. He had a lot to him. That's what it's like. Horikoshi, please use him again.
Yeah.
His story's not done.
Yeah. Well, I was about to spoil something crazy for y'all. Anyway. Caught myself. I know some of y'all said y'all was okay with it, but I wanted some of you to figure that out on your own.
So, getting into Stars and Stripes, I just want to know your general thoughts on her. Just general thoughts on her, them just like waiting for her to come in and be this hero and save everybody.
What's that? What part are we on?
Where
How many
it's
spoilers
still season 6. It's the end of season 6. And if you've watched season 7, you know what
She
happened.
like just shows up, right?
Yeah,
in season
like
6.
she's on the plane on the way.
I could say something.
Hey, she's standing
What
in
is
for
it?
Mirko.
Hey,
kinda wanna
stand up there.
Okay, I had a feeling. I was like, America. Anyway,
Yeah,
leave it to America.
just like America.
I was talking to
Show
somebody
up to
about
save
it.
the day.
Right, I was talking to somebody, and they were like, for some reason, America just like leave Japan to their own devices, but now they're like, oh, this might affect us. Send our person.
Yeah.
Send our person.
Yeah.
I think she's cool though. I think I don't know. I think the quota of really strong women for me is Mirko is
Mirko.
really.
We already hit it in season 4.
Huh?
We already hit it in season 4. Mirko's introduced, and it's like, that's it.
That's it.
We don't need any more.
That's it. But I heard she's like mad OP, so I'm excited to see what she does.
But would she win against Mirko?
Dang. I'd always be rooting
Immediate
for Mirko.
L.
But
Same.
I hear she's like crazy OP. She's like American All Might. Do you think Mirko could fade All Might? I think she can fade All Might.
She's pretty determined. I think he would be surprised by how determined she was.
Because if All Might could hardly take down a Nomu at like half strength.
Oh
like,
yeah,
from
that's
season
that's
one.
why I think she should be number one. Because Endeavor was struggling
Endeavor's
too.
not that strong to me.
He's not.
He's not that strong to me. Yeah, she took out 3 of the same Nomu he
3.
fought, and it took him
Like it
and
was
Hawks
nothing.
to take out 1. Yeah, I think she could fade All Might. I think she could fade Stars and Stripes.
I just think she is the best hero.
I did too.
Okay, so we're gonna do like a rapid fire like question. Literally like 5 people. The first 5 who lined up, we're gonna ask some questions. I just ask that you keep them really condensed and short, and maybe even target to a specific person because we've got about 5 or so minutes. So, yes, line up. It looks like we've got our 5 that fast. So, thank you guys for being quick.
This was fun.
Yeah,
Thank
times.
you. Thank you for being our,
Yeah,
our
thank
lovely
you.
host
Thank
and
you.
having amazing questions.
Thank you.
Yeah, you guys are great questions.
Thank you. All right, ready?
Who would you let your characters interact with if they could interact with someone they haven't yet?
Mirko.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello.
I would love. Oh no. I would like to see Mirko interact with Deku. I think she could encourage him to get out of his shell.
I want to see Overhaul react with or interact with Recovery Girl. I think she could tell him off. She's like, "You have this power that can heal people instantaneously, and you're using it for what?"
Yeah. It's like that Superman meme where he's like, so you're telling me that you could cure cancer and you want to turn people into dinosaurs? Yeah. And he's like, but I don't want to cure cancer. I want to turn people into dinosaurs.
Yeah. No, I feel like if anyone could talk some sense into him, it might be her.
Which characters would you all like to see more screen time of?
Mine.
Mirko.
Mirko.
Thank you.
So if Hawks was a UA high schooler at the time that like this apocalyptic thing happened, how would he react? How do you think he would react?
If he was a high schooler, when?
When the like basically Japan just went to complete crap, like all the heroes resigned and stuff, how would he react to that?
Going to high school with Deku?
If he was like a student at the
Yes.
academy, so he'd probably react exactly the same. I think he would like do his own thing a little more. He wouldn't be beholden to the hero commission, so he'd probably be in the shadows working on some way to solve the problem.
Be like, that's crazy.
Yeah, he'd be like, dang, that's crazy. I got like 15.
What else
feathers."
is on?
Yeah. Whew, good luck, y'all. No, he probably he'd be at work. Yeah.
You can angle it downwards if you like.
We have someone who can
Yeah,
help
okay.
them.
Well, first off, I just want to say I got into MHA last month, and I'm completely caught up because I love it so much. So you guys did great.
Welcome.
My question is, I just wanted to ask if you guys could quickly go through your favorite line from each of your characters and say it in their voice.
Okay, cool. It's fun.
A goal without a plan is just a wish. Bad advice from good advice from a bad dude. Yeah.
What can I say? I'm an optimistic guy.
Heroes never ever give up!
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi. Hi again. So, really fast, if if I was Deku Zeno, you'd be All Might.
Yes.
But anyway, so for all of you, what was the most emotional scene for you to film?
Yeah, probably the end when he was screaming, because in my mind I was like, oh, he messed up bad. Of course he's going to be screaming like that. I had to go deep for that. I had to think about like my relationship with my own dad for that one. So that would definitely take the cake.
Hawks' backstory was like a lot of the really emotional stuff he got to do, and like him kind of sort of recounting his past and how he grew up and its impact on him, I think was like, yeah, like a pretty big scene. And like his speech to Lady Nagant too was like
Made me
pretty
cry
intense.
really hard.
I lost my voice on that one.
Not emotional, but it was challenging to do the Mirko versus Nomu fight. That was fun. And I was like pushing myself because I wanted to make sure it sounded just right. And our director is Colleen Klinkenbeard, who voices Luffy in One Piece, and she does an amazing job. And I was at the top of the session, I was like, hey, how do you keep your voice healthy? Like, how do you do what you do? And she's like, I just hope for the best. And I'm like,
Same.
no, and I'm like, well, I guess what I'm doing is working because I also hope for the best.
She told me, yeah, I just like down Fisherman's Friend, the cough drops.
Yeah. Just the whole bag.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We got a little one.
Hello.
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 Who would you think would win, Mirko or Deku?
Kick fight.
Yeah.
Sorry, Deku.
Yeah.
Yeah, Briner's not here. We got Mirko here. So.
Mirko wins by elimination.
I think just experience alone, she could probably like. He's got tactics, but she's got like stuff that's tried and worked. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think just like feet to feet wise, I haven't seen Deku do anything close to what Mirko did.
He would lose his leg.
Yeah, right. So I just am not sure. I think Mirko is more stronger, more versatile, and more experienced and more aggressive. I think Deku might be. I think his niceness
And
would get in the
cooler
way.
and smarter and wiser and,
And
better
prettier.
looking and yeah.
Thank you.
One more.
So, why did you start voice acting?
Why did we start voice acting?
Excellent question.
When I was a little kiddo, I was 13 when YouTube was created, everybody. So I started doing animations for that and Newgrounds and stuff and got a group of friends there and we would start voicing for each other's things. And I was like, I like this. I was doing like musical theater at the time, but it's like, this is cool. I don't need my body and I can be whatever, you know? So yeah, just the love sort of grew from there.
I saw a play as a kid, and I was in art class. Art was my elective at the time. And I saw a play, and I went, how do I do that? And then from then, I took a program, and I auditioned for a bunch of my agents. And one of them sent me on this audition for this show that would become a show called Ben 10 Alien Force. And that was my first ever job. Yuri Lowenthal is here, by the way. Oh my God, I love Yuri.
For me, I always love stories and characters and the impact that a story can have on an individual. There's so many stories that are near and dear to my heart. And of course, I always admire the acting that, adds to that, right? And so I wanted to be Hermione Granger when I was a kid. And so
Were you the Pink Ranger as a kid? You said you wanted to be a what as a
Hermione Granger.
kid? A Mighty Ranger?
Hermione Granger.
Hermione Granger from Harry Potter. Okay,
yes,
I'm sorry.
there you go. And yeah, I used to know like all of the scenes from the Sorcerer's Stone. Like I would recite it and everything, but I was too shy to do theater at all. So then I kind of came across voice acting, and I'm like, oh, this is nice. I can continue being in my little socially anxious bubble and act like I want to. And it was really fun, and it led to, this.
Woo! Thank you.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Round of applause one more time for our guests, people. Woo! Thank you guys so much. Thank you for being patient. If you guys could just tell them where they can find you next.
Yeah, we're down at the autograph place, which is like a couple miles from
yeah.
here.
The Green Mile.
Yeah, through a couple tunnels of people.
Yeah, you got to go down a couple of sets of stairs. You got to pay a gnome. You got to.
You need your passport.
Yeah.
I definitely have that.
Password at the gate.
No, but we're by like Artist Alley, and
Yeah, Exhibit
we would
Hall.
love to meet you all and answer your questions there.
Yes.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Hey, guys, before you leave, I was like, this is sort of anticlimactic. Do you guys want to do a picture? Yeah, there we go. Everybody get as close to the front as you can without pushing or hurting the other. And on 3, we're going to do a big plus ultra, okay? I haven't done a plus ultra in a crowd in a long time, so you guys really gotta wake me up here, okay? Yeah, everybody's gonna leave, and I was like, that felt abrupt. I'm just gonna give it a couple moments before we all get settled and let everybody who's coming up come up, and everybody who wants to leave. Wow, there are a lot of you. It's been a while since My Heroes filled up a room like this.
Yeah.
That's so cool. My Hero can still do that.
Nah, they're all here for you.
Yeah, yeah, they're actually all here for they're here for the next panel. They're like, oh, picture, yeah. Okay. Oh, cool. We have the picture here. Okay, on 3, I'm gonna bend. Actually, so I feel like some of you in the front will get blocked. So I'm gonna try to get as low as possible. And on 3, we're all gonna do a plus ultra. Okay. Alrighty. Are you ready? This is gonna be great. All right. 1, 2, 3.
Plus Ultra!
Thank you guys for coming. Now you guys may leave. Thank you guys. Thank you so much.